Use these 3 simple techniques to hack a woman's mind. Have you ever noticed that some men seem to have a magic touch with women? They walk into any place and create an authentic connection, leaving a lasting impression. But you know what? It's not magic. It's psychology. They've figured out that, in the world of women, the secret isn't about sweet words or flashy gestures, but about how you make a woman feel. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. The emotional world of women is complex and fascinating, but it's also full of nuances. While many guys try to impress with obvious things, like cars, clothes, or rehearsed lines, the ones who truly understand the dynamics go deeper. They realize that the real language is emotional. It's not about what you say, but about how she feels when she's around you. And if you're already curious, don't worry, because I'm about to show you 3 simple techniques that will transform the way you connect with them. Picture this. You're at a party, you spot an incredible woman, and you decide to approach her. The problem? Many men freeze or make obvious moves that repel instead of attract. Now imagine if you knew exactly what to do to spark her interest, in a way so natural that it feels effortless. Wouldn't that be amazing? Well, get ready, because these tools are just minutes away. How emotions drive the female universe. In relationships, emotions always trump logic, especially for women. For them, decisions aren't made solely based on what makes sense, but on what feels right. That's why, if you want to truly win someone over, you need to understand how to create experiences that evoke emotions. Listen, research shows that our brain is far more impacted by emotional stimuli than rational ones. And do you know what that means? That small gestures and even the tone of your voice can say more than rehearsed words or stories about your achievements. Want an example? Instead of talking about your job or car, try sharing something that moves her, inspires her, or makes her laugh. That leaves a much more lasting impression. Here's another interesting point. Many men, in their attempt to impress, focus on the wrong things. They talk about titles, trips, possessions. And while that might catch attention in the moment, it doesn't create a connection. Instead, ask questions that invite her to share something meaningful, her dreams, challenges, or happy moments. That way, she not only feels valued but also realizes you're genuinely interested in the person behind the appearance. Now, the real secret: pay attention to the signals she's sending. A slight smile, a lingering glance, or even a pause in the conversation says a lot. When you notice these details and respond the right way, that's when the real magic begins. After all, emotional connection is what turns any encounter into something unforgettable. Technique number 1, the language of curiosity. Have you noticed how curiosity can be magnetic? When you spark a woman's interest, she automatically wants to know more about you. It's almost like opening the door to lighter, fun, and deeper conversations. And do you know the best way to do this? By avoiding the obvious. Instead of starting with a simple, "Hi, how are you?" try something that grabs her attention. For example, "You seem like the kind of person who always has an interesting story to tell. Am I right?" This kind of approach has 2 major benefits. First, she feels special because you noticed something about her. Second, she becomes intrigued, which creates a relaxed moment for the conversation to flow. Let's imagine a situation. You're at a party, and you see a woman who caught your attention. Instead of going in with a predictable line, you could use something like, "I bet you have the best travel advice no one's ever heard. What would it be?" This strategy not only breaks the ice, but also allows her to share something unique, something that's entirely hers. And the best part is that curiosity isn't just a tool for starting conversations. It also keeps the interest alive. When you show genuine curiosity by asking, "What was the funniest moment of your day?" or "What would your ideal superpower be?" she realizes that you're truly interested in getting to know her beyond the surface. The key here is to be genuine. Don't force mystery or try to sound overly clever. Just show real interest and pay attention to what she says. That's what makes the conversation flow naturally. When she feels that you're present and curious, the interaction becomes memorable, and that puts you miles ahead of most men. Technique number 2, validated empathy. If there's one thing that really makes a difference, it's showing that you understand how she feels. It might seem basic, But many men miss this chance because they only half listen or jump straight into offering solutions. Let me tell you, sometimes all she wants is to feel like someone truly listened and understood her. Let's look at a practical example. She's telling you about a problem at work. Instead of responding with something like, "Oh, that happens," or "You should try this or that," try saying, "That must be so frustrating, to put in so much effort and not feel like you're getting the recognition you deserve." Just by saying that, you're showing that you're attentive, connected, and acknowledging her feelings. This kind of response makes her realize you're different. Why? Because most people just listen, but don't validate what the other person is feeling. When you show empathy, without trying to solve everything, she feels safe and comfortable enough to be authentic. And let me tell you, that sense of comfort creates an emotional connection that many men fail to achieve. One important thing: being empathetic doesn't mean you have to agree with everything or lose your own identity. It's about balancing understanding with authenticity. For instance, if she shares something personal, your reaction should show respect and interest without coming across as fake. A simple, "I can see how that might be tough," is far more impactful than you might think. Remember, moments of empathy are the foundation of true relationships. And I'm not just talking about romantic ones. This applies to any human interaction. When you show you genuinely care, not only does she notice, but she'll deeply appreciate it. After all, who doesn't want someone who listens and values what they feel? Technique. Number 3, the scarcity trigger. Did you know that always being available can actually lower your value? This happens because when something is too accessible, people tend not to appreciate it as much. The same applies to relationships. The idea behind the scarcity trigger is simple: creating a healthy balance between being present and letting her miss you. But hold on, this doesn't mean ignoring her or intentionally acting distant. In fact, the key is showing that you have an interesting and active life, filled with things that inspire you beyond the relationship. For example, if you're exchanging messages, instead of replying immediately to every text, try responding thoughtfully and completely, but only when you genuinely have time. This makes her realize that your time is valuable and that you dedicate it consciously. Now here's an important detail. When you're together, be fully present, be engaging, listen to what she says, maintain eye contact, and show that the moment is special. This creates positive memories that will make her miss you when you're not around. Imagine, for instance, a conversation where you're genuinely interested in her dreams, or a date where you focus on creating unforgettable moments. That leaves a lasting impression. The secret is that this scarcity has to be genuine. No games or forced tactics. Simply show that you're a man who values his time and invests in himself. When you demonstrate that you have a rich and purposeful life, attraction happens naturally. After all, who wouldn't want to be around someone so complete and interesting? Let's make one thing clear. No technique will work if you're not authentic. It might sound like a cliche, but the truth is that women can quickly sense when something feels forced or fake. That's why the best strategy will always be to act in alignment with your values and intentions. For instance, when using the WEIR curiosity technique, make sure your questions and comments are genuine. If you truly care about what she's saying, it will be evident in your tone of voice, your expression, and the way you react. It's not about repeating ready-made lines that worked with other people, but about creating genuine connections based on what you feel and observe in the moment. Another important tip is to practice patience. No one becomes an expert in communication and relationships overnight. If you feel insecure at first, try applying these ideas in casual situations, like conversations with friends or colleagues. This helps build confidence as you refine your approach. And here's a secret that makes all the difference: invest in yourself. Men who are constantly growing, learning new things, and pursuing their own goals exude confidence naturally. This positive energy is irresistible and turns any technique into something much more powerful because it reflects who you truly are. Finally, remember that authenticity doesn't mean perfection. It's about embracing who you are and using the right tools to express that in the best way possible. When your actions come from a genuine place, you don't need to worry about temporary impressions. The impact you leave will be lasting. Have you ever felt completely lost trying to win over a woman? Trying to please her, texting her all the time and still getting nowhere? That's because you're playing by the wrong rules. Rules that never worked and never will. There's a simple, straightforward method that clears up all this confusion. With it, you'll know exactly what to do and how to act to make her feel an irresistible desire for you. It doesn't matter if you've made mistakes before. What matters is that now you have the chance to get it right. No more guessing or panicking. The video in the comments explains it all. Click now, watch it, and see how easy it is to change your approach and get real results. You deserve to know the truth. Today, you've learned the importance of sparking curiosity, creating empathy, and balancing presence and absence with the scarcity trigger. But more than just simple techniques, these are tools that can transform the way you connect with women, and more importantly, with yourself. Choose one or two of these ideas and test them in real situations. It could be a casual conversation, or a more meaningful encounter. What matters is putting them into practice and adjusting as you figure out what works best for you. Don't rush. True learning comes from experience. And here's an invitation. Share in the comments how it went when you applied these techniques. Did you get any unexpected results? Or maybe you have a question about how to adapt the approach to a specific situation? If this content resonated with you, take 2 actions now. First, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you can keep getting practical and powerful tips. Second, share this video with that friend you know who needs a little push to change their attitude. Sometimes, a simple action like this could be just what they need to transform their perspective. Finally, remember, the path to becoming the best version of yourself starts with small steps, and the next one is watching the video currently playing on your screen.